of you would recall that I was the chief negotiator for SPLA in opposition. We are here to give a public message to our people, the South Sudanese people. From here, we are asking for immediate cessation of hostilities between the forces. The forces that are fighting among themselves, these are sons and daughters of the South Sudan. They are all SPLA members. They belong to this country. This message of calm is from His Excellency the President Salva Kiir Mayardit. He would want to cease fire immediately. Our people have suffered so much, they don't need any more suffering even for a minute. This is a call to our generals in both armies. They should cease fire immediately. And the President, I believe, he will issue a statement today to maintain peace and for people to observe law and order. We have one president in this republic of South Sudan, is Salva Kiir Mayardit. His orders and directive must be implemented in letter in spirit. We should have to respect the orders and directive of our president. It is our country. It is to the benefit of everybody to have peace and tranquility in this country. We have achieved our independence. This peace is good to us, all of us. We know it is not anything that is negotiated. It's not fully on one side, but we believe it can carry the country to peace and it can carry the country to prosperity. Let me repeat again that the President is asking for calm, is asking for respect of ceasefire, is asking these people fighting among themselves from the day before yesterday. These are sons and daughters of this country. We need them, we need their life. We must preserve the life of the people and property of this nation. The country must move forward. All this misunderstanding will be resolved, whether in the SPLM or in other political parties. On behalf of all the members of the SPLM, whether in IO or the SPLM government, I'm sending this message that we must respect peace, we must abide by this peace, and we must implement this peace and in letter in and we must respect and stand behind our president. This is very important, and that the gun must cease immediately. This is a message to all my comrades in the army, whether this is the chief of staff of the SPLM government or whether this is General Paul Malong or General James Kongshul or James Garway Dual. You must abide by the orders of the president to cease fire and respect the stability in this country. This is a very important message. And as I say, the president will give a statement to the nation today calling for peace and calm. Once again, let's have peace in the country so that we move the country forward. Thank you.
As you might have heard and have witnessed, the crisis that happened this morning, this unfortunate situation that took place this morning, despite the fact that we managed to address the incident of the AIDS, which was anticipated by most of you, and most of you here in the media are witnesses to that situation. And nevertheless, this morning, while the people of the Republic of South Sudan, especially the people of Juba, the capital city of South Sudan, were going to their churches for prayers, an unforeseen and unexpected situation happened. Fighting erupted at the checkpoint which goes on the road to Yei. Fighting erupted. The SPLM-AIO forces attacked the checkpoint. They definitely overran it because the forces which are usually there are those who are there to regulate the movement of the traffic and so forth. They overran it, and as the SPLA forces had to move in to address that situation. That situation was addressed, and at present the situation is calm, the situation is normal. Juba town is under full control of the government of the government. It is worth mentioning that when we talk about the government, under the current situation and pursuant to the implementation of the peace agreement, we talk about the government, we mean the transitional government of national unity, in which the president, the first vice president, the vice president, and the cabinet inclusive. It is unfortunate that this thing is not being respected by now. Things have changed completely, and we are in a situation whereby we need to maintain law and order. We need to respect and abide by the provisions of the agreement as stated by my colleague here, who was the chief negotiator of the SPLM-IO. I had the honor of being the spokesman of the government negotiating team. We are quite aware about the provisions of the agreement, and we have been longing for implementation of the agreement in letter and spirit. It is unfortunate that at this moment certain violations happened, which led to the loss of lives, which was uncalled for. It is unfortunate that we have lost lives at a time when we were not expecting any lives to be lost, but it has happened. Nevertheless, we say, let us go back to the CPA, let us go back to the agreement, let us go back to the implementation of the agreement, and His Excellency the President, His Excellency the President acted soberly and in a responsible manner on the events of the 8th of July, when the forces of Riek Machar created that situation which happened in J1. Nevertheless, His Excellency the President tolerated that. And because he's a man of peace, he decided to provide maximum security and protection to his first vice president, to ensure that he's protected and that he's escorted to his house. Actually, it is the protection force of the president that escorted the first vice president to his residence. That was a gesture of goodwill, and that was a gesture that, yes, the president is committed for the implementation of peace and the agreement as such. Unfortunately, today, in fact, we spent the day yesterday in peace. As you might have observed, we observed the 9th July in peace. There was no any crisis. But unfortunately, this morning, while our people were going to the churches, a situation erupted. And some of the churches has to stop the prayers in the middle so that the people, the faithful, can go home. That is an unfortunate situation. And based on that, His Excellency the President is calling upon the people of calling upon the forces, calling upon the SPLM AIO forces and his first vice president in particular to revise the provisions of the agreement, restore peace to Juba, and ensure that the people of South Sudan, and particularly the people here in Juba, live in peace and harmony. He appealed to the president, to his vice president, to abide by that. Unfortunately, this is the situation in which we are. Nevertheless, before the end of this day, we are expecting that His Excellency the President will issue a permanent ceasefire, a unilateral ceasefire. Will issue an order for a unilateral ceasefire. That unilateral ceasefire will be issued by His Excellency, binding on his forces, binding on the forces of the SPLA and the other regular forces under him. We hope that His Excellency, the first Vice President, will follow suit and do the same, because we want to save the lives of the people of South Sudan, the lives which we have lost all this time. Yes, those who lost their lives in the cause of liberation went for the rightful cause. But at this moment, we are not ready to lose more lives, because these are the people for whom we fought for. Any other issues will be addressed in the rightful manner, but not through the use of force means. Thank you very much. That the fighting that erupted on the 7th, if I am to take you back, and the fighting that erupted on the 8th of this month was caused in the SPLM, SPLA, IO. And that first lieutenant is the very person who caused the fighting in J1, and he has lost it. He has gone. That is the very person. So the government of the Republic of South Sudan is not responsible for whatever might happen. What happened on the 7th at the checkpoint
Today?
on the 7th
On the 7th, yeah.
was caused by the same person, and what happened on the 8th in J1 was caused by the same person. What happened today was also an unfortunate situation, and we will continue to investigate and find out, because on the day the checkpoint is being managed by the government, and it is the SPLM AIO forces that attacked the checkpoint this morning. Nevertheless, so crisis of today, and as such we call upon the leadership of the SPLM AIO to conform and abide by the provisions of the agreement. Because we want peace.
Thank you. Another question, please, Honourable Member.
Today, as we said earlier, and Michael also agree with me, here is a country president. President Salva Kiir Mayardit is in control, and all you, the media, you have confirmed this, because many of you thought that the president was not in control. There were these talks before, but I believe, given the incident of 8th, all of you have observed that the president is in control, and the people of this country are backing him. They stand with him. We believe these are his officers. Paul Malong worked together with Salva Kiir Mayardit. James Kong Shul worked with Salva Kiir Mayardit. Simon Garwish worked with Salva Kiir Mayardit. These are his officers. These officers belong to the army of the Republic of South Sudan. They have a CNC, a commander-in-chief. They have a president. The orders of the president must be respected in letter and spirit and must be implemented. Second, it is our country. Why should we live in chaos and crisis every now and then? We believe anybody who is rational in this country will abide by the orders of the president, and this ceasefire will be respected. They are sons and daughters of this country.
Yes. Well, of course, these are reports which are not confirmed. These are sporadic reports which are being sent by people in accordance with their stand and position. The position of the government, the government is in full control of Juba now, except the cantonment side of the SPLM-AIO. This is where we are not in control, because that is their area. But for the other parts of Juba town, the government is in full control as of now.
Yeah, and again also, you know, as Michael said, control means law and order. Even the places where the IO is deployed, those were decided by the CNC president of this country, that these forces that belong also to the same republic are accommodated in those places. So they must abide by law. There's nobody who is having control here. These are wishful thinking. The country has a president, one government, as Michael said, one people. So the law and order is the responsibility of the government all over the places of the country, including where the IO forces are deployed. We are appealing again that you also, the media, help us sending this positive message to our people and to our friends that the country must live in peace.
Yes, finally, of course, as you saw on the 8th, the government is in full control, and nobody can claim that the government is not in control of Juba town. As of today, the government is in full control of Juba town, not Juba town, but the whole of South Sudan. And this message must go clearly to the people. Those of you who were with us in J1 know what happened. So I don't need to talk to you about it. When you were close in, I know very well that you are eyewitnesses to all that happened. And the government is in full control. Those of you who would be writing that the government is not in full control, as some of you report it, is unfortunate. I request that as media houses, you report the situation as it is, not according to your whims or to what you think.